That the mayor and council wishes to acknowledge the town of Fort Smith is located within the Treaty 8 territory. The Treaty 8 territory consists of traditional homelands of Salt River First Nations, Smith Landing First Nations, and the indigenous Métis people of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship over their sacred lands throughout the generations. We honor their knowledge, teachings, traditions, and the land. We are mindful that colonization hasn't been kind. We respectfully recognize our generational histories and commit to striving for unity in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. There. Thanks. Having said that, approval of agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions? I see none. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously. Thanks. Okay, and we have a presentation, RCMP.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm presenting the June monthly report this evening. For the month of June, we received approximately 160 calls, which is within the average. In regards to the first priority being road safety, we have charged 2 individuals with impaired driving, one of which was a result of a complaint made by a member of the public, the second one from a proactive check stop. A number of other people have been charged with various tickets. One youth had his license suspended for blowing a horn on the device that we carry with us when we ask people to provide a sample. That is for this. That is it for that priority. Second one being community engagement and reconciliation. Jesse Woodward continues to volunteer at the animal shelter on a weekly basis. He also participated in the high school lockdown drill during the month of June. He has also taken part in the science fair along with the Fort Smith bylaw officer. Red Kleeman is involved with the Anglican Church and the functions they're having. Red was also in attendance at the high school for a graduation ceremony. We did make a presentation on alcohol, drug consumption, abuse, and bullying at the elementary school at JBT as well during the month of June. We've also taken part in the Treaty Day celebrations, as you can see on some of the pictures we have, and I had the honor of standing next to the mayor for the signature of the MOU. Regarding our third priority, harm reduction, we continue to do compliance checks, namely curfew checks on some of our high-risk offenders or chronic offenders. We've also, in the course of an investigation, seized 8 grams of crack cocaine from an individual. That matter is still under investigation, and we're pursuing charges. Again, we continue to have a number of MHA calls, mental health calls. Month of June was 5, which resulted in some of them with us sitting at the hospital with the patient until either they were meted back to Yellowknife or assessed by a local physician and released. Another notable incident for the month of June is, some of you guys must have heard, we had a plane crash. Although it's just south of the border, we responded. The 2 fellows in the aircraft survived. That incident is under investigation by Transport Canada. No injuries reported, thankfully, this time. That's all I have, subject to your questions or comments.
Okay, thanks. Any questions? Councillor Campbell.
Yeah, thanks for that report. When your device, you said, does it detect the drugs and content in person too when you're doing a check stop? Like when you say alcohol, when they blow into that machine?
So we have, there's two devices. There's two devices. One is strictly for alcohol, and the second one is for various drugs. We are not using that device because some of the things we're using are not available. However, that does not prevent us from doing other tests to detect drugs. A number of us are now SFST trained. Basically, it is the test that you would see on most American shows where they're asked to follow a pen that is placed in front of them. They're asked to stand on one foot with their eyes closed, and they have to count for 30 seconds, things like that. So that will detect intoxication by alcohol or drugs. Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Councillor Ferguson.
Thank you. I'm just looking at your reports here for assaults. So it says previous year's total was 106, and year to date so far we're at 125, and 25 being in this current month, and last year the same time was only 10. Are we seeing an increase in this kind of a activity, or is there something different in reporting? That's why we're seeing like we're only halfway through the year and we're over what our total year was for last year.
There hasn't been a change in the way we're reporting these assaults. There has been an increase, and which is reflected here. Is it a temporary trend? I hope so. These are mostly common assaults, not the serious one like an assault causing bodily harm or assault with a weapon or even aggravated assault.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, yeah. Last week I just noticed there's this, what is it? The new drug there. I got fentanyl. I got brain dead here. Yeah, and it's probably been in Smith for a while. So how do we are going to deal with this? Like there has been overdoses here. I mean, let's be honest about it. And how are we going to move forward now that fentanyl, I guess, is here? It has been here on these people selling it. Like they just sell it, and seems like nothing happens anywhere. So I don't know. Like if you're selling it, you know what you're putting out there. So you're still continuing to do it. So you know exactly what you're doing. And how can that enroll if someone overdose, say a young person, and he dies? And then what is the connection from the dealer to him? If they make a connection, what happens there? Can they be charged, and what they're going to be charged with? Thanks.
So whenever we have a seizure of drugs, we typically send them to the Health Canada lab in Burnaby, BC. In the samples that we've sent, we have not been made aware of any fentanyl in them. I'm not saying that there's none in town. There certainly is, with the proximity of Hay River only being 2.5 hours away. We just have no reported case yet. As far as fatal overdoses, we believe there is one from a few months ago. We're just still waiting for the toxicology report and the final report from the doctors regarding that, but we are suspicious that it's an overdose and it was fatal to her. Regarding your last point, if we're able to prove that someone has died from an overdose of drug and that the drug was sold by a specific person, and we can link all of that together, typically, the charge that would follow is manslaughter. It can't be first degree or second degree murders because with the first degree murder, you have to show intention that with the sale of the drug, the suspect intended on killing the person. It's a very tough offense to prove. We typically prove it with words or actions of a suspect. In these cases, typically they end up being charged with manslaughter.
Okay, thanks for your question. I'll keep my opinion on manslaughter to myself. No. Any other questions? I see none. Thank you very much. And I hope you continue to be in Fort Smith. You're a very prized possession here with us. Thanks. Okay, approval of minutes.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting 06-24 of June 18th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions rising from the minutes? I see none. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously. Declaration of financial interest.
I move that the minutes from the special meeting SP-05-24 of July 16th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
Any questions? Moving on, all in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously. Any business from the minutes? I see none. Moving on. Okay, no declaration of financial interest. Number G, council's business. Administration.
So as was requested in the last meeting, there was a motion on the floor about the pool assessment RFQ costs, but there hadn't been any budget linked to it at this point. This briefing note outlines some of the options for where the budget for it could come from. So there's the capital project plan in the briefing note. There's 4 options kind of identified for where the money could come from. It is $12,100. So the options are from the asset management system implementation, the slope stability design, the community art initiative, or the cemetery retrofit are the 4 identified projects that could provide the funds for this project, and then just kind of choosing the priority level for that. So I leave that with you.
Any questions? Councillor Ferguson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a question with these items, other than the cemetery retrofit, but items 9, 10, and 13, they're on hold. Have we already accessed funding for those things? And are they on hold not because of us or because of something else?
So I think at this point they're on hold just because of the current load of where we're at with projects. So as we've moved through the priority list, that's what we're getting to. The slope stability design is also very specialized. So there's a limited kind of pool to pull from to work on that project. The community art initiative, we just recently received some funding to put towards that, but we would work within the funding that we received. Yeah, that's kind of where those projects are sitting at.
Councillor Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If anything, I would suggest that we look at the slope stability project as a source of funding. It'd be about 10% of that particular project thing. My rationale behind it is this is a significant community asset, probably one of our, according to at least the last report we had at Community Services, it's being well utilized, and it is, for next to the arena, probably our most significant asset. And for it to be, throughout the last, at least the period that I've been sitting at this term, the pool has been closed a few too many times for my liking due to mechanical issues. And the idea is let's get in there, assess these mechanical issues and other issues that may be presented, come up with a plan where we can either do a midlife retrofit of the pool, which I think is probably overdue, and give ourselves some assurance that for the upcoming winter season, when it's probably most in demand and into the future, that this pool will be reasonably operational, do the modifications if they're needed and things like this. For this asset for us to ignore the assessment of this asset is just sticking our heads in the sand. And we don't have that much beach sand there to stick our heads in. So let's deal with it, find out what the major issues are with this pool, and come up with a plan for us to address it. So again, I would, I think, and I'll put forward a motion that for the that mayor and council authorize a deferral of funding from the slope stability design project to offset the cost of the pool assessment project.
I'll second that.
SCO?
I'll second that.
Okay, Councillor first, seconds, SCO.
I was just going to say, so this could go into there's a motion on the floor already and could be amended, because the motion was to go ahead with the project. We just didn't have a budget to put towards it yet. So we could amend, I'm not sure if we can now, but we could amend that motion.
Councillor Corbett.
I think this motion speaks more, like the previous motion was voted upon, passed, and it was for what you've provided us, the briefing note and everything else. This motion speaks to the action item of here, take the money from this project, apply it to this, move forward with the project.
Campbell.
I agree with my fellow councillors. We should do that, but I'm just scared what we're going to find out. But let's go with it and take it from the slope stabilization fund. And I think Councillor Couvert's motion speaks for itself. Let's just run with it now that we know we're getting money.
Okay, all in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously. Yeah, just a fast question. How long would that survey take?
I'll have to get that information from the engineer, so we'll award it to Masqua once that motion passes. And then I'll have to see what the project deadline will be on that. So
Okay.
I'll have to get back to you with that answer.
Okay, because we're just getting into fall, and what I'm thinking now is if there's something that has to move there or get done, we still have money in this place here, right? That was earmarked for 250, but I'm not sure what we spent on there because of our bigger stuff. But there probably will be money to do it. What's that number? And then we're getting into fall. I'd rather have it fixed before winter so we have an easy winter, because I don't think there's much going here And rightfully, other than probably painting the outside, but we're getting close to winter here. And that's a pot that we probably could use. I'm not sure. Thanks. Councillor Campbell.
Just as long as we put it like, let them know that it's urgent, something we have to do right away. Thanks.
SAO.
So again, this is only for the assessment. Like it's only for an assessment of what currently exists there. There's no digging, there's no like, they're not coming in and fixing anything. So it is just an assessment. And then from that gives us a better idea of how and if it can be fixed. So there's no budget. We have no idea what a budget like that would look for at this point. So that's going to depend on what we come out of the assessment with. So this is just step one. We're gonna slow those steps down a little bit.
Yeah, I was just letting you know that there's a potential budget that we could draw from. Should the number be low, that we have to fix something now? Thanks. Next, okay, where are we? Council business, blah, 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 blah. Who?
I move
Oh.
that the Protective Service Standing Committee minutes from July 9th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
I'll second.
I see none. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously.
I move that DPA-024-24 submitted by Larry Marcial be to operate a home occupation mobile auto detailing, Larry's Mobile Auto Detailing from Lot 1342, Plan 1788, 24 Caribou Crescent in Fort Smith be approved.
I'll second that.
Any questions? See none. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously.
I move that DPA-026-24 submitted by NT Energy for the construction of electric vehicle charging stations and associated parking from lot 4415/730 plan 1820/836 zone 1, 108 King Street in Fort Smith is approved.
I'll second that.
Any questions? See none. All in favor? Passed unanimously.
I move that DPA-027-24 submitted by Ragged Range Incorporated for the construction of a series of apartment complexes from Lot F, Plan 25, Zone TC, 231 Primrose in Fort Smith be approved.
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions? Questions arising? I see none. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously.
I move that the Corporate Services Standing Committee minutes from July 9th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
I see none. All in favor? Passed unanimously.
I move that administration respond to the correspondence from St. John Anglican Church to address their questions regarding the taxation and utility rate changes in a detailed letter.
I'll second that.
Any questions? See none. All in favor? Councillor Corbett.
Yeah, I'm not totally familiar with this. I did read briefly about it. And if administration could get back to me, did the Anglican Church representatives submit an appeal through the property taxation revision process?
I move that council approves the CPI funding contribution agreements with MACA for the fiscal year 2024 to 2025 in the amount of $1,656,000.
I'll second it.
Any questions, Councillor Corbett?
Yeah. Again, reading the notes and things like this, I noticed one of the other councillors did bring up the point that we feel that we're being underfunded in this, and I think this is something that we have to continue to pound on. Our infrastructure slowly, well, not slowly, it's rapidly declining, and this is one of the avenues for us to be able to try and maintain it. So I know the Premier is going to be in town in a few weeks or a month, and I think we should be making this a very strong point of concern and bring it to his attention as well as the Minister of MACA.
When he did change the meeting. But yes, this will be on one of the questions that we asked. Thanks. Okay, we're in all in favor now? All in favor? Okay, all in favor, pass unanimously.
I move that council approve the operation and maintenance funding contribution agreements with MACA for the fiscal year 2024-2025 in the amount of $2,408,000.
I'll second that.
Any questions? See none? All in favor? Same thing. Yeah.
I move that council approves the water and sewer subsidy funding contribution agreements with MACA for the fiscal year 2024-2025 and the amount of $671,000.
I'll second that.
Any questions? I see none. All in favor? All in favor. Okay, thanks. Pass unanimously.
I move that council directs administration to approve the request for an extension of the current town of Fort Smith's and Salt River First Nation municipal services agreement, and that it be noted that the services for the new subdivision will not be turned on until the town facilities have been deemed able to accept all increases loads.
I'll second that.
Any questions?
Yeah, this one here, but deemed to accept the increased load and new MA. I thought we talked about a new MAU in place too. That's what I'd like to put in the bottom of that, and then it's all okay with me.
Councillor Ferguson.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember that conversation. It was not just to accept the increased load, is that we also have a new MOU in place before the water services turned on. So I can amend this motion to accept the load and a new MOU be in place.
And I'll go, and I'll go with the way it's written.
Okay, any more questions? See none and all in, or SAO.
I think the other thing, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be an extension for a year. It wasn't supposed to just be an extension without an end date. So, sorry, I just caught that as well. I don't know if you want to amend it just so that it's for a 1-year extension.
Councillor Ferguson.
Thank you. Yes, that is correct. So that I move that council directs administration to approve the request for an extension of 1 year of the current town and Fort Smith and Salt River First Nation municipal services agreement, and that it be noted that the services for the new subdivision will not be turned on until the town facilities deemed able to accept the increased load and a new MOU is in place.
And I'll
Councillor Campbell.
go with the same seconder.
Okay. All in favor? All in favor, pass unanimously. Thanks.
I move that council approve the increase in the sewage lagoon liner replacement project budget to include the additional design and project costs.
I'll second that.
Any questions? See none, all in favor? All in favor except for one abstention. Thanks.
I move that the Community Services Standing Committee minutes from July 16th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
I'll second it.
Any questions? See none. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously.
I move that Margot Harney be appointed the returning officer for the 2024 municipal election.
I'll second it.
Any questions? See none. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously.
I move that the Municipal Services Standing Committee minutes from July 16th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
Questions? See none arising. All in favor? Passed unanimously.
I move that the signing authorities for the town of Fort Smith shall be Mayor Fred Daniels, Deputy Mayor Diana Kroll, and Councillor Leonard Tuckey on behalf of council. And that the signing authorities for the town of Fort Smith shall be Tracy Thomas, Senior Administrative Officer, Emily Colucci, Director of Community Services, and that all documents must be signed by two officers, one from council and one from administration.
I'll second that.
Any questions arising? See none. All in favor? Passed unanimously.
I move that bylaw 1059, appointment of Fire Chief Adam McNabb, be given third reading by title only.
I'll second that.
Questions? Questions forward? See none. All in favor? Passed unanimously.
It's good to see. I move that council accept the proposal submitted by Masqua Engineering Limited with a price of $12,100 plus GST for the inspection and report of the William Schaefer Memorial Pool, and to ask administration to bring forward recommendations as to what appropriate plots of funding might cover this expenditure. So,
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions? I see none. All in favor? Passed unanimously.
I move that council approve the budget for the energy upgrade.
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions? Any questions? Okay. Okay, all in favor? Passed unanimously. Appointments.
I move that Mike Vassal be reappointed to the Community Services Advisory Board for a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
I'll second it.
Any questions? See none. All in favor? Passed unanimously. Mayor and Council's Board of Representation updates.
Thank you, Mayor Daniels. I actually had not attended any meetings in July. I don't think we had any of the, I did not attend any meetings, but I just wanted to remind folks with this heat that we have going on, check on the people that might not talk, like your elders and such, because the heat can really have an effect on those folks. And if they, make sure they're keeping cool and keep in when you see the smoke coming in from down south. Although, as scary as it is, it's not around us, but it's down south. And just remember to protect your mouth and don't breathe it all in. Thanks.
Councillor Campbell.
Thank you. Speed, let's keep it down. The Cowboys are out. NWTAC, we had nothing going on this past month. The crosswalk at Calder and McDougall. Can we get an update for next meeting or, okay. And then just a couple more. Crack filling, and then when is that going to be all completed? On our streets, we just paved all the rest of the town. We should look after what we have. And grass cutting, they're doing some now, but we still have lots to do. We should get that all done. Thanks.
SAO.
Oh, I can just give a quick update. So the signs just arrived for us to install. So the installation should be happening within the next 2 weeks. So then that'll be a much safer crosswalk for everybody. Yeah. And I'll get more information about the other ones.
Okay, thanks a lot. Councillor Corrett.
Really do not have much to add to this other than do a public service announcement that it is awfully dry and hot out there. People out camping, enjoying the wilderness and things like that, please be careful. With it being this hot, there's really no need for a fire. So don't start any because they'll run away on you. And as well, if you're on ATVs and other vehicles, please check them, make sure they're clean, that they're not dropping no sparks or anything that can ignite and put us in a wildfire situation. So just enjoy yourselves out there, but be careful and be safety conscious.
Councillor Bolio.
Don't have any concerns at the moment. What I'd like to say is congratulations to all the leadership in the community. The community is very active within the last month or so with the activities for the kids and also for the adults. That's the only thing I have. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, the things. Okay, with Smith Landing, they got their funding to do that water line study from our water place to the reserve. So that's going to be commencing like probably next week. They're hoping to meet with us here at our water plant probably in between next month and to December to walk through our water plant and see how that's going. But we're really making good game on this. It was just brought up early in the spring, I believe, or last winter was, and then the Indian Affairs just took it and they ran with it, and we need this water line to go through, because from there, what I was thinking is that we could tap into that line and bring the rest of the people in Carl's Drive and the nearest facility within the water plant, all on board. And that's my whole game plan under it. It'll lessen our water truck, our deliveries and everything, which will be saving more money. But this is a real move into the future. And, it's the town, and with this one, it's Smith Landing working together with the support of the others. There's other ones that they're going after and which we're support. So the leadership has really came about, and it is doing a good job. And I'm very happy to, like I said, do previous Mayor Lynn Napier's signing off on her work. That was really great. She had the insight there of seeing this long ways, and I commend her on it. And this is a very unique thing. It's never happened in the territories before, and right now it seems to be working great. So that's one of the major things. The other one is the road south. Well, we're still waiting for one of the groups to come together so we could reschedule that. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I was in High Level last weekend, just on a weekend trip, and I couldn't get in touch with the mayor there. What I wanted to do was touch base with the mayor of High Level and vote and give them our support from leadership here in Fort Smith, because they're also looking at a road through out of the High Level, and I want to give them our support there. And I also want to give our support in Garden River, but right now they're on evacuation. So hopefully in the very near future, we'll put that together. And if there's 4 roads going out of here into the south, then that's fine. And then I believe Hare River and Yellowknife is also on board with this. So I will be pushing that harder. And hopefully by then the other group will come together and we can talk about the other road from Chip to Smith. So that's on that part. Our infrastructure is coming about. We tackled it hard over the last 2 years. I know we got robbed a year because of the fire, and this work here is supposed to be in last year's work. This work was supposed to be brand new, but anyway, we lost the year there, and but we've done a lot in our term, and I'd like to thank council and the staff for that. Election year this year, and welcome anyone to run. And yes, I am going to be running. I thought it over loud and hard, and yeah, I'm going to put my name back in the rings. There's a lot of work that has to be done yet in infrastructure, before I call retirement. Once it's all done, then yeah, I could go enjoy life. I rebuilt the town again, and we've done it, and yeah, it should be good for another 40 to 50 years after that. That's a major accomplishment by us. Long-term vision. That's really awesome. So, and I thank the people of Fort Smith. So, thanks. Proclamations. Okay, I see none. Absent of council members.
I move that Councillor Bolio, Councillor Courvet be excused from the Protective Services Standing Committee meeting on July 9th, 2024.
I'll second it.
Any questions? I see none arising. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously.
I move that Councillor Bolio and Councillor Courvet be excused from the Corporate Services Standing Committee meeting on July 9th, 2024.
I'll second it.
Any questions? See none. All in favor? Passed unanimously.
I move that Councillor Pissinger and Councillor Ferguson be excused from the Community Services Standing Committee meeting on July 16, 2024.
I'll second it.
Okay, I don't see any questions. All in favor? Passed unanimously.
I move that Councillor Pissinger and Councillor Ferguson be excused from the Municipal Services Standing Committee meeting held on July 16, 2024.
Okay, I see nothing. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously. Date of next council meeting.
I move that Councillor Tuckey, Councillor Pissinger, and Deputy Mayor Kroll be excused from the regular meeting of council on July 23rd, 2024.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously.
Okay, the date of the next council meetings. There's Corporate and Protective Services Standing Committee meetings on July 6th, 2024. Oh, sorry, August. Did I say July? Yeah. Community and Municipal Services Standing Committee meetings August 13th, 2024, and regular meeting of council 08-24, August 20th, 2024.
Okay, all in favor? Or we don't have to do it.
I move the meeting be adjourned at 7:46.
I'll second that.
All in favor? All in favor, pass unanimously.